Hello, guys. Welcome back to another episode of the Scaling Brokerage Podcast. Today, John has been kind enough to bless us with some of his time. So I'll kick it right off to John. I'll let him explain a little bit about himself, tell you guys about himself and his business as well.
Hi, I'm John Khella, originally from Jersey City, and now currently working in Jersey City. I been a commercial real estate broker now for 12 years. I started off in Montclair, eventually went to Edgewater, and now I have my own brokerage for the last a little over 5 years over in Jersey City. We do both commercial and residential transactions, although my personal production is strictly in commercial real estate.
Okay, nice. So bringing in agents that do both, both commercial and residential. Or do you focus more bringing agents that do one or the other?
No, I let agents decide when they come in, especially if they're brand new with a license, how they want to proceed. I do most of the training. I do most of the mentoring. That's generally where I spend most of my time. So even though I'm still in production, I'm primarily a mentor and a trainer, and just making sure that I'm a good shepherd to all the flock at the office.
Absolutely. Hey, I'm sure those guys can definitely appreciate that, right? That's awesome.
Yeah, I didn't even plug the brokerage. I just realized we're Azimuth Real Estate. We're over in the Greenville section of Jersey City. We're in the JCEDC, which is a shared co-working space called the Grapevine over there. Beautiful space. If you get a chance, please feel free to stop by. Let me know. I can get you in there. But yeah.
Absolutely. And at the end of the call too, I'll have you plug in all the social medias, the website, everywhere they can find you.
Okay. Good.
But just get a little bit of kind of background on what. So how did you get started in real estate? What kind of caused you to take that jump?
Yeah, it was. I had just finished business school a couple of years before. I wasn't really happy with where I was at and my job. I was a software developer at the time, and I decided, it's time to switch careers. So I went to real estate school. I did the 2-week class, passed on the first shot, and was off and running. I started off doing investment property and retail spaces in Montclair. I did more of the same in Edgewater, and then, like I said, I took that money, eventually started my own brokerage. I was in Kearney for a while, but for the last 4+ years, I've been in Jersey City. Like I said, I finally switched offices again earlier this year in July, or last year now in July. And, I've been very happy with the business and how everything's been going so far.
Nice. Hey, wonderful. And along the way, have you ran into anything that you feel like has slowed you down on personal production, on recruiting?
Yeah. All of the above, right? Juggling work-life balance, getting into a routine, getting your systems up to the place where you would like it to be, maintaining your CRM, prospecting when you don't feel like it. And then sometimes the agents have that same problem. So motivating them to, hey, this is what you need to do in order to make money. Hey, this is what you need to do in order to keep your business functional. Hey, this is how you achieve longevity, right? Because I'm the most experienced agent in my office, a lot of that leans on me. And then for a while now, I've been the oldest agent in the office, which, considering that I'm not that old, is an interesting dynamic to have too, to have so many young people around that, constantly are like sponges. Like sometimes I'll hear them talk to clients and it'll literally sound like my dad talking to me. And I'm like, yeah, it worked. You know what I mean? It's validation,
a good feeling, right?
Yeah, it's validation for all the effort, all the money, all the time that went into it,
No, hey, absolutely. I know. I can attest to that there. Well, nice. And so on marketing lead gen, do you guys do anything right now? Helping market the brokerage, help market yourself, your agents, anything like that?
Usually the agents will market themselves on their own. They primarily do that via social media, but most of them have learned how to fish, for lack of a better phrase, right? They've learned how to lead gen on their own, and how to develop their own book of business based on the clientele that they want as agents. So we're very blessed. Like as an office, we have more work probably than we can handle, and that's basically been the little bit of recruiting that I've been doing. Is the pitch of, look, we're swamped. I don't even have time to be sitting here at this network function drinking free booze with you. I want to go home and rest so I can work for my clients. And if you want to come do the same, come with us. And that's that's generally been it. It's been hit or miss, right? Because if I'm not putting the word out there, I'm not getting 100 people interviewing. But I don't really want a large office. Like I can't, when I see people have more than 100 agents and stuff like that, I'm just like, that's not me. For me, I think that personal attention is paramount to how we do business as a company. And a lot of the company culture is defined by just this personal approach. Fleta, who runs our office, likes to say that we're like family, but I think it's more like we're like a frat house that has women in it. In fact, it's been like ladies' night for the last, I don't know, almost a year now, because it's been me and all female agents in the office. So that's an interesting dynamic unto itself too.
Closer to sorority then, right?
Yeah, it's closer to sorority than fraternity. Exactly. It's like a sorority where the den mother is a guy. But yeah, other than that, it's cool.
Nice. Well, on the, I know you said, not looking to grow, be a huge, large office or anything. Do you do anything to attract agents to you to find those, those agents that you're looking for, that would produce and help out there?
Yeah, that's probably the number one place I've been lacking, because I've been so focused on maintaining my existing book of referral business and mentoring and training that it leaves very little time to go out and recruit the way I would like to.
I got you. Well, and I know how difficult it can be, to spend hours and hours and hours recruiting, and we don't necessarily always have a definite outcome. Whereas if we spend that time in the marketplace, more than likely we're able to make something happen. Keep the lights on, make some money. So we understand how it can kind of get pushed to the wayside. Especially as we're busy. The market's booming. I would definitely understand that. Have you ever used like a system or had anything in place that helps you, checked in, helps you not have to like do all the legwork there?
You mean for recruiting? No. The closest thing I had to a system was I offered somebody, a piece of the salesperson's production for recruiting, like on a human level, because she, had a very tapped in network and stuff like that. But that never panned out too much. I got one or two agents on an interview, and we just didn't mesh. So, no hard feelings, but just going back to cross my fingers and pray somebody comes looking for me at this point for most of my recruiting.
I understand. Yeah. Well, great. And kind of dive into the future vision and growth for you as well there. Do you have an idea of where you're headed? Where do you want to be like in the next, 2 to 3 years with the company, with personal life as well?
Well, yeah, I think the company is the easier one to answer. I think with the company, I would like to have enough agents where I don't have to be in production in order to keep the lights on. But I think also I would like to focus more on community outreach and, helping combat the homelessness problem, especially here in Jersey City. There's a good number of people that, could use housing that are either getting priced out due to gentrification, right? We want to promote community development over gentrification where we can. Just that sort of thing to try to educate and help people build wealth, but also, combat just the basic stuff of people finding a place to live too.
Understand. Well, and I know you've probably dealt with it, and I know we've all kind of dealt with it in the past year with the NAR settlements, things kind of evolving. How have you been able to kind of stay on top as things keep changing in the market, as it goes up and down? What do you kind of do to stay focused and stay kind of at the top of your game there?
Yeah, I mean, with the settlement, I just broke it down to them like, look, you already deal with this in commercial real estate where you have to negotiate a buyer broker agreement before you have any material conversation about real estate, right? You have to talk about commission, you have to talk about what you're going to do and what you're not going to do, and what the expectations on both sides are. So I think telling the agents, look, you have to go do the same thing in residential, it was a smooth transition. I think for brokerages that are strictly residential, that culture shock, that shift was probably a little bit bigger,
Absolutely. And that is a great point to attest it to. Yeah, those agents that are already on the commercial side are already, pretty privy to how, the operations need to go and how things have to, things have to take place in order to be, law abiding. I'm looking, there's a better word for it.
Compliant is the word I like to use.
That's what I was looking for there.
Yeah, law abiding implies they're all outlaws, like Jesse James in the old Wild West, and we have to tame them to not shoot anybody. We're not quite at that point yet, but yeah. Although sometimes I'm sure some brokers feel like that, but not with my agents. Generally, they're compliant. They're pretty good. If anything, they'll come to me and ask me stuff that they already know the answer to,
Yeah.
just to feel reassurance.
Yeah.
But I can live with that. I'd rather them come ask me than to end up, making a mess that I got to clean up after them.
Yeah. Yeah, absolutely. Absolutely. I'd rather saves us probably, hours and hours just with a couple minute conversation.
Mm-hmm. All the time.
Oh, nice. Nice. So, kind of in closing, or getting closer to the closing, if you were to start over today, rebuild the business, start from square one, what would be kind of the first initial steps for you? Where would you go?
I probably would market more on behalf of the brokerage than I originally did, and I would probably spend less time worrying about like the color scheme of the logo and coming up with the name. Like I would invest more in the business plan in terms of how I arranged my time. But other than that, everything else went pretty much the way I thought it was going to go. Like there weren't a lot of surprises early on. And the nice thing about having a really well-written, detailed business plan at the jump was that any surprises or any, any challenges that came up, I was prepared because I had spent so much time thinking, planning, what do I do in this situation, that it was already written in the business plan, that I just went, oh, I'm just going to do what it says to do. And pretty much it steered me in the right direction every single time. It's great.
That's awesome. And a business plan, is that something that you made yourself, or is that something you had?
Yes, for the brokerage, yes. I consternated and I went back and forth because especially I was building it out while I was already still in production. I only had Fleta with me, so I was only mentoring one person at that point. And I was also teaching. So that's the other thing. I'm a licensed instructor. I've been the only licensed instructor for Bergen Community College now, almost 2.5 years. It's going to be 3 years coming up soon in April, which is crazy to think it's already been 3 years, but still, I was juggling so much that basically I would just write the business plan in bits and pieces whenever I had any little free time. And that's why it took me like 7 months to get the business plan off the ground to the point where I can have action items, right? Fill out this form, go open this bank account, go talk to the state, that sort of thing.
Hey, and that is a great, obviously being persevering, kind of through, our day to day. And I know just being an agent, we can, spend so much time and kind of feel so bogged down there. So how did you feel like you had the time to do that still? I mean, you said in between like appointments and everything.
Yeah,
You had.
Yeah, I think I made a conscious decision that I really wanted to do this. I felt like the minute I got my broker's license, I already had an inkling that I wanted to open my own spot. But I think I got the push from all my fellow agents that I was doing deals with and networking and masterminding, all telling me the same thing, like, you are more than ready. There are brokers that don't know half of what you know and have their own brokerage. Like, you should probably do it. And, they finally put the bug in my ear and I listened, even though I was stubborn and didn't want to listen at first. 3 years after I got my broker's license, opened up the brokerage.
I got you. And that time in between there, was it kind of just the, the fear of the unknown, like waiting to step in, or just having the, time, funds to allocate?
It was more fear of not being able to stay in production at all. Like, I had so many referrals coming in to the point where I wasn't spending any money on marketing. Like, that's how busy my phone was. So, I wasn't all gung-ho about wanting to give that up. You know what I mean? There's just
the overhead and responsibilities as well, I'm sure.
Yeah. Well, the responsibility I was fine with. Even the overhead I was fine with because I know I had saved up enough money separately for that. I think I was more concerned with the lifestyle change that comes along with transitioning from being full-time in production to running an office. That was my biggest pain point, that I was very hesitant at first. But, in hindsight, it worked out pretty well. And I'm very grateful. Like, I just, I keep telling everybody, like, I get to hang out with people that I like and get a tax credit for it. It's nice.
Right. Right. Get to write off all the traveling as well too.
Yeah. I mean, in Jersey City, the distance isn't the biggest write-off. It's more the maintenance on the car. I mean, half of these roads is like the Middle East. You go 10 minutes, you hit a pothole every time. you know. Just
Totally.
these roads are
Going
so
through tires.
game here. Yeah, your tires take a beating. I have tire insurance on all 4 tires ever since the day I got licensed. Rim insurance, like the whole nine, because just your car goes through a beating here, you know.
Yeah, absolutely. I can attest to that. I have a couple. I have one old car, but yeah, it's 50 or 48 years old, so it's still chugging along.
Well, you got an antique going. It's a classic car, right?
Yeah, yeah, it's a 77 Nova. So yeah, it's a
Oh
cool,
yeah, it's a
it's
definite
cool.
classic.
Yeah, it's a fun little car. I just got the engine rebuilt and everything, so it's been fun.
Yeah, I'm
Nice.
sure you get all the Chevy Nova jokes from the car guys too, right?
No, I haven't really, like, I just got it back probably 2 months. I'm still breaking in the engine right now. It's probably like a month ago. I haven't even put 500 miles on it yet.
Oh,
So I haven't really got to, I
well,
haven't
it's
been to
still
like
new to
any
you.
car shows or anything cool yet.
Yeah. When you get to like the 9,000 mile mark and you're past the honeymoon stage, then call me back. We can talk about it.
Yeah, it might be gone by then.
Oh,
Yeah, that's right. Their old cars are fun, but man, they can create some problems for sure. I got the whole garage floor lined with a tarp, and it's a mess.
oh yeah. I got a friend of mine. He bought his wife like a early 90s Jaguar because she liked the look of it.
Oh
But
yeah,
that thing was in the shop more than it was running. So,
yeah.
you know, I applaud people who do that with the classic cars and try to maintain that. But to me, that's a labor of love. Like
Yeah.
I pour enough time, money, energy into the brokerage. I don't need another project like that. You know what I
Yeah.
mean?
Oh yeah, and it's definitely time consuming. I was like spent an hour just looking for a bolt last night. Oh, but nice. Well, I mean, do you have it in like kind of in the closing too? Do you have any quotes, anything like when things are going good, when things are going bad, anything you like to kind of come back to often there?
I mean, I think personally, I like to, you know, quote the Bible, "This too shall pass," right? Like, in the moment, everything feels like it's bigger than it actually is. But how many things actually affect you 2 years, 3 years, 5 years later? Not that many. So, you know, this too shall pass. That's kind of how I look at overall problems, challenges that come up. And generally, we've been good about navigating it. You know, I feel very fortunate that nothing crazy has happened so far. You know, nobody's gotten sued or anything crazy like that. So, you know, we're chugging along. I mean, in the 5+ years I've been open, I've never had an agent leave me for another brokerage. So I don't even know how to speak to that. Like, it's crazy. I'll talk to brokers from other brokerages and they'll be like, oh, yeah, I have people leave every week. And I'm like, yeah, I don't know how I can handle that. You know what I mean? I take it so personally when someone wants to leave, even if they're leaving the business. You know what I mean? I try to give everybody every chance in the world to make money and to fit in, you know?
Absolutely, absolutely. Hey, and I want to also let the people know where they can find you at. Do you have any social medias, any websites, anything like that where they can check you out?
Yeah. We're azimuthproperties.com. We're Azimuth RAB on Insta. We're on Facebook too. But I mean, in general, we're easy to find. Like my Instagram is at John Khella. You know, it took me all of 2 seconds to think of that one, but yeah, we're generally easy to find on the socials, and you know, my cell phone is publicly available, even though I'm not going to say it right here on the podcast. But you get the general gist. I'm not that hard to find.
I guess, yeah. And if you guys, you heard him there. If you guys want to get in touch with them, I mean, directly, we'll link the Facebook. We'll link everything down below website as well. But if you guys want to get in touch with them directly as well, I'm sure a quick internet search would help you find the correct cell number there.
Pretty much.
Awesome.